everyone. Welcome to our Be Kind Online campaign podcast. My name is Davina and I'm from NYAWA. NYAWA is a mental health NGO. It's youth-led and it was founded in 2021. So today we're going to be talking about cyber harassment and its impact on our mental health and well-being. And we have Joanna Joseph over here.
Hello.
She is a beauty pageant and a mental health advocate as well, talking about her experiences with cyber harassment. Hi, Joanna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about this
Same.
really important topic.
Yeah, it's such an honor to be here. I'm really glad that you guys are doing this. It's so important to advocate on cyber harassment with lots of recent things that are happening online.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Maybe you can open up, tell us about your own personal experiences.
Wow, okay. So I have been dealing with social media for a very long time. My first ever social media account was a Facebook account. And I think that was in 2010, 29-ish. And I was just this normal schoolgirl who wanted to make friends online. And there was a lot of things that happened earlier in the day as well. I got into this really horrible situation where my photos got leaked. And that was my first impact that social media had on me.
Right.
So it was really, really tough. Went through that and I entered the entertainment industry. So where I work right now it revolves so much around social media.
Okay.
And of course, as time, like when you look at the generation before and now, I think a lot of young people, they do not take cyberbullying seriously. They do not take cyber harassment seriously. They say whatever they want to say online. There's no such thing as kindness online because I've dealt with so many negative comments. Even after my dad passed away, there were people who came up to me saying, oh, you know, you're fatherless and etc. And it can get really hurtful sometimes, especially when you're involved in the modeling industry. I think a lot of people, they tend to comment a lot on how you look like, your body weight and etc. and how ugly you look and, you know, really mean, disgusting comments. So all of these used to get to me a lot when I was much younger. But over the years, I kind of learned how to combat that and ignore that, or even start a conversation and speak to them about it, hoping that they realize their impact on mental health. Sometimes they listen, sometimes they don't, but you can only try as much as you want to try. And at times you just have to let it go because people are not going to listen to you if they already have chosen to not listen to you in the beginning. But it definitely had a lot of mental impact on me. I still carry it on until today, and I try my best to just ignore or just understand where the person is coming from. Yeah.
How does it impact you emotionally, you know, especially when it first started for you?
Wow. Emotionally, I was really, really sad because I didn't understand why would someone say such things online, especially these are people that you don't even know sometimes. And you tend to question yourself a lot. I know it's a lot easier said than done when people tell you, oh, you know, just ignore what people say. But subconsciously, it's always on your mind at the back, you know, and you don't realize it until you go to sleep. Sometimes you have nightmares because your subconscious thoughts come out. And I fell into severe depression when my photos got leaked, especially. It was awful. It was everywhere. It was on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, lots of fake profiles, and them adding my friends online as well. And, you know, like everybody just got to know about it. And it was a never-ending thing. It went on for like 5 or 6 years. And honestly, until today, it goes on because once your photo is out there, it's out there.
That's so terrible.
Yeah, you can't do much about it. So yes, I fell into depression. I have stage 3 depression. I've been going through it for I think about 6 or 7 years already. I ended up in self-harming addiction. I'm happy to say that I'm clean for 2 years now. So I've gotten past that. But of course, the impact is something that stays with you for a very, very long time. And it's not something that's easy to overcome. Like at times you tend to get the thoughts of going back into it and doing whatever you used to do as a coping mechanism. So to combat those thoughts is difficult.
Yeah, and that takes a lot of strength too to overcome everything that you've gone through the past 7 years. It's, you know, and to reach this point and being sober for 2 years, that's incredible.
Thank you.
That takes a lot of strength.
My dad's passing changed a lot for me. Like when my dad was around, he was my strength.
Yeah.
And when he passed away, it kind of made me feel like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, like my biggest rock is not here with me. Am I going to go back into it? Is there anyone who's going to stop me from it? And I told myself that if I want to make him proud, if I want to make him happy, I have to do this for myself. I cannot depend on him entirely to like always tell me, oh, you shouldn't be doing this and stuff. So with my dad in mind, I have been sober for 2 years now, and I'm really happy. It took me a big loss to realize a lot of things.
Right.
Yeah.
To feel that, even though he's not there, you can still carry him with you in your own unique way.
Yeah.
And still be strong in your own way.
Yep.
That's really beautiful.
Thank you.
And who else helped you at that time when you were going through all of this? How did your friends and family support you?
Wow. When I was much younger, I never had any friends, which is why I decided to go online, trying to find friends online, because I used to be severely bullied when I was in school, and I never had anyone to talk to. So since I was a huge Justin Bieber fan, I still am a huge Justin Bieber fan, I thought that the easiest way to be friends with the Belieber community would be online. And I did make a lot of friends online. But at the same time, not everyone was genuine. Like, there are lots of predators online. And I was just too young to understand the impact that social media would have. Because at that time, I think like a lot of us were, Facebook, and it's a thing, and it's just making friends online. But nobody really looked at the dark side of it.
Yeah.
And we were too young to understand the dark side of it. So when whatever happened, I was so clueless. I had nobody. I was so scared to even approach my parents, because I was like, they're going to kick me out the house or something. And my school friends, all of them turned their back against me. They're like, we don't want to be friends with someone who has the photos out there. It's going to be an embarrassment. So it was really tough. I had 1 or 2 friends, but most of the time I had myself.
Yeah.
And it was very hard dealing all alone when it comes to stuff like that. Later on, I slowly opened up to my dad about it. And he was one of the most, I don't even know how to express things when it comes to him. He was so gentle. He never yelled at me. Like, the entire perspective I had that, I'm going to get like a lot of horrible yelling from my parents because I'm talking about this, it never happened. He was so gentle. He understood where it came from. He was never really educated much about mental health, because every time I spoke to him about it, his perspective is like, when I was younger, we used to go fishing and climb trees and play marbles, and we never really had like a mental health thing. What is mental health?
Right.
So I had to sit him down and explain to him and like tell him what it's all about, and to open up about my emotions to him was quite difficult, because I'm the only child, and I just got to know this year that I was adopted as well. Yeah, so now when I know that I'm adopted, it makes me think a lot about my past and why he would have reacted in certain ways. But there were times where he told me like, I've given you a lot of things that every other child would want. Why are you still sad? Why are you still depressed? And I didn't know how to tell him that it's not you.
Right.
It's a me problem. It's me. It's what I'm feeling. It's what I'm going through. I never would want you to feel as if it's your fault.
Yeah.
And over time, he understood that. Like, after a lot of time sitting down, explaining it to him, explaining what I'm going through, he kind of understood it. And the first thing he told me was, if you want to find professional help, just find it. Yeah, I'll be here to support you in every way possible. But if you feel like you need someone more professional to help you, medications and etc., just go for it. So he understood. He was my everything at that time. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't know where I would be. I don't think I would even be here today.
It must have been so isolating at first, not, the fear, how do I tell my parents, your friends shaming you, saying they don't want to be associated with someone that has their photos out like that. That must have been so heartbreaking and like a betrayal.
It was, but it's so sad to see things like this happen so commonly nowadays. This happened like 10 years ago to me, and then like now when I look at it, I'm like, wow, it's such a norm, people are just leaking photos here, there, on Telegram. I think all of us have heard about the Telegram groups and how viral it has gone. People make money out of women, and I can't imagine things escalating further than this.
Yeah.
Because back then when it happened to me, it was just on Facebook, fake profiles and this and that. But now to look at the fact that they are actually exploiting women in such a way, sending out personal photos, even like AI generated nudes and etc., it scares me so much, because there seems to be nothing we can do about it except advocate as much as we can to stop this from happening. Yeah.
And what would you say to those people who know people who have those photos out there? How should they be supporting them? What should they be saying to them?
I think the first thing is zero judgments, because everyone has that fear of like coming out and talking to someone about it when it happens. There are people who's gonna be like, why did you do it? You're so stupid and this and that. Because when I first came out with my story about how my videos got leaked, my photos got leaked, there were positive comments, but there were also comments that said, it's your fault. who asked you to give your photo? You were so young, you were 13 years old, what were you thinking? And they didn't look at the underside of what I went through with this person and how emotionally manipulative he was and how he made me feel like I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't going to have anyone if he left. And I think all of those play such a big role psychologically.
Yeah.
So there would be, I think that people should just be more gentle when it comes to stuff like this, less judgmental, be a listener. I think a lot of us want people to listen to us more than give an opinion. We just need a space to let it out. And whatever we say in trust to someone shouldn't be spoken to another person. I think that's one of the most difficult things these days, trust, because when you speak to someone about something as personal as this, sometimes the news spreads and then other people get to know about it. And then when other people come and approach you saying, hey, I heard this, I heard that, obviously a part of you feels like, oh, my trust is gone, you know, like I confided in this person and this person has decided to speak to everyone about it. So these are the few key points. I think you need to find someone that you really, really trust to speak about it, and the person that you're speaking to also needs to have the same trust, like to ensure that this doesn't go out, or to advise you. And if you're not sure on how to go about the situation, do not give advices that you do not know of. Because I think a lot of people out there, especially when it came to grieving, for example, so many people came up to me and told me that, oh, you know, you should move on. Oh, you know, he's gone. You should do this. You should do that. And I was stuck in a position where I was like, how do I do this? Like, how do I just do what these people told me to do? It's very difficult. So yeah, just be mindful about how you handle people like this.
Right. And so when people approach you, you know, it sounds like it's a good idea to kind of keep your guard up at first before you get to know, you know, how used you are to talking about your experiences. And how has talking about your experiences, has it helped you throughout your journey?
Oh yes, it has helped a lot. Like when it comes to the whole picture leaking thing, it was something that I kept to myself for like a very long time. It happened when I was 13 and I first opened up about it during the pandemic. So it was a very, very long time. And the reason why I wanted to talk about it was because of the Telegram issue and how viral it was becoming. Also, someone decided to share the photo back in the Telegram group after so many years. So I was very unhappy about it. And I realized that, okay, you know what? Maybe it's time to just talk about it.
Yeah.
It's something that happens to a lot of people, including men, not only women.
Yeah.
And mental health doesn't look at like genders, you know, like it affects the female population more or the male population more. It affects both.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a human thing. And to talk about it was so hard because I had to look in the camera and realize, okay, I'm opening up about this after so many years. I don't know, it's like a journey down memory lane, you know, going through every single detail of what happened and explaining my side of the story, hoping that people would understand that things like this happen not because people just want to simply give away the photos. There are other underlying factors as to why things like this happen. And I was so young. I was groomed by this 18-year-old and I didn't even know what grooming was or anything. It was until years later I realized, oh, okay, all of this happened. So I spoke about it. I was really, really scared. The videos reached like 100,000 views. So I was freaking out day by day. And there were so many comments coming in. I had so many women texting me saying, oh my God, finally someone spoke about it.
Right.
And I have been suffering with the same thing for like years. And these are like women who are about to get married, women who are already married, young girls who are in school. There's just so many. Even men came up to me saying that I went through the same issue, but I have not seen anyone who's brave enough to actually talk about it in the open. And you have opened like a space for other people to come forward and also to share what they're going through, because now they know that, okay, I have a support system. If it's anything, she's here to support me. And that made me really happy. I think that kind of like overshadowed a lot of the negative comments that came in because the positivity was much more. And of course, I had like really terrible people saying really mean, nasty things, especially from men, saying that, oh, you know, it's your fault. You were so young and you still did it. And, you know, like this and that. But I just chose to, as difficult as it was, I just chose to ignore all of that and just look at the positive side of things. So that kept me going, which is why I constantly speak about it, although I know that, okay, there might be some backlash, but it's an important topic. So people need to talk about it.
Yeah. And how would you like society's attitudes to kind of shift and change when it comes to this?
Less judgments, once again. I think social media, right, it's this platform where not everything that you post is real. You only allow people to see what you want them to see. There's so many other things that go behind social media that people don't know of. So I can be really happy today on social media, but I might actually be really depressed on the inside. We don't know. And do not believe everything that you see online. Always check up on your friends, even though they are influencers or celebrities. Or we all saw what happened to Liam recently, Liam Payne, and that was very shocking. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody expected it. It has also something to do with mental health. So always be respectful as you can online with people. If you do not know what to say, just don't say it. If you think it's funny to you, it might not be funny to someone else.
Right.
That's something that I always think of when I want to comment on something. I always think, okay, is this going to hurt the person if I say it, although it's a joke? Maybe it might be a joke to them because they are making the joke. But when someone else points it out to them, they might feel a little bit like, okay, why is this person saying such a thing? So just be careful online. Just be kind. Be mindful. Always practice kindness. That's just it. If you don't know what to say, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say it.
Yeah, and so often we don't even realize that we ourselves could be taking part of this. We could be judgmental
True.
to other people.
True.
So being mindful of that is really, really important.
Yeah, we are humans, we have emotions. I think all of us in this room has judged someone before. Like subconsciously, we see someone walking and we go like, hey, why is she wearing that? You know, it's a very common thing. But to realize it and to understand it, like, hey, you know, I shouldn't say that lah. This person is probably going through something, which is why this person looks that way or is wearing such a thing. It all comes back to you in the end. So it takes a lot of practice to actually be that way. Even I'm still practicing it sometimes because being in the entertainment industry is very difficult. I used to be a judge for pageants and stuff. So automatically when I see someone, I go like, okay, the heels is wrong. it's like a natural thing. But then I realized, okay, now I'm not judging anybody. You know, it's not a competition. I am out there. Let them wear what they want. Let them do what they want. As long as they're comfortable, let them just be themselves. So that is just what I do.
And what advice would you give to other people, especially, you know, young girls that are facing similar things? What would you want to say to them?
I would say hang in there.
Yeah.
It's not the end. I know it's really, really difficult to go through it because I've been there once and I really thought that my world was ending. I never thought I could see past that. I never thought I'd still be here talking to you today. But things do get better. And always find a safe space to be at, to talk to people. Your company is so important. That's what I realized. Like, for me, I always wanted to have friends, right? And I had a lot of friends at one point. But I realized that not all of them were genuine with me. Sometimes people just want to be friends with you, to exploit you, to use you, to talk about you, to get information from you. And having a good circle is important. It's always quality over quantity for me. So that's really important, having a support system and just doing what you love. You know, especially when it comes to like these kind of stuff, like photos being leaked, what I always tell people is go by the law. That's something that I failed at doing when I was younger because I was so scared. I didn't have anyone to guide me on, hey, you should make a police report, you should do something about it, get a lawyer. Nothing. Which is what led me to suffer in silence for so long. But right now I know that there are lots of lawyers who advocate for it. It's something that people talk a lot about. And I don't think that it's going to be ignored as well, especially with recent times like Asia's case and cyberbullying, and you know how everyone just stood up for her together. I think that was very strong. That was very powerful. It's something that has not happened in Malaysia at all, if you ask me. And Malaysia has so much more to go for because as we saw, the punishment wasn't as how it's supposed to be. We lost a life. Mental health is still not really taken care of that much. People don't really know what mental health is, which is why it's so important to always advocate on it. You're never wrong to share your feelings. Like, nobody should invalidate how you feel. Your feelings are your feelings, and it's okay to feel that way. It's okay to not be okay. I think that's the most important thing that I want to tell people. Like, if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're going through something, just go through it. Talk to someone about it. Journal. Like, journaling has helped so much for me. When I was younger in school, when I had no one to talk to, I used to have a diary. I used to write all my thoughts in it. Sad, angry, depressed thoughts. And it helped me a little bit to vomit it out on paper. So that really helps. And just doing what you love. Something that makes you happy. Something that makes you feel positive about yourself or the day.
You know, I think that's like beautiful advice.
Thank you.
And it's not easy. Everything that you've been through, it takes a lot of strength, you know. Even till today, coming here, opening up about it, talking about it, being sober for so long, it's not easy. Everything that you've
it's
gone
not
through.
easy. It's a journey. I think it's going to be quite the journey. We're just getting started.
But yes, thank you so much. Thank you, Joanna, for coming today and for
Thank you for
sharing your
having me.
story with us. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to also share that NYAWA will also be launching a campaign soon, and all girls and women are very free to share their stories. We really want to have more exposure, more awareness about this really important topic, and you can see more news about that on NYAWA's website, NYAWA's Instagram page, and X as well. So yeah, thank you guys. And
Thank you
we'll
for
see
having me. I'm really glad that NYAWA is doing this because it's so important. Thank you for having me today. Really glad to be here with all of you, and I'm looking forward to see more.
So, thank you.
Thank you.